Go on, admit it, you are as surprised to see Resident Evil Requiem running on the Pimax Super Micro-OLED as what I am. This is, of course, the Prey Dog VR mod for Resident Evil 9, and what can I say? What can I say? This is absolutely incredible. An even crazier thing is that this is, of course, the latest update that was released today. The crazier thing than that is that this is actually running on the Pimax Super Micro-OLED in Pimax OpenXR mode. There is no messing around. I'll leave a link in the video description. You can actually download this yourself from that link on GitHub, thanks to Prey Dog, the amazing VR modder, and you can simply extract the files into your root folder of Resident Evil 9 Requiem and literally launch the game. Open Pimax Play and launch the game, and you are in. You are in straight away. Now, I would recommend this. We'll have a walk around and just show you how incredible this is, but I haven't seen anything like this since the Luke Ross Real VR mod for Cyberpunk 2077. This is absolutely outstanding. It really is that good. Now, I had to have a play around with this. I'm just going to share with you what I did. When you launch into this, it's a flickery mess, because actually, of course, I've been playing Resident Evil 9 like many and really enjoying it since release, and I've nearly completed it actually, but I've gone back to the beginning just to do this walkthrough section here. The settings in this have to be knocked down considerably, obviously for VR, and I've had to knock them down even further because I'm also recording on the same PC just to make sure that everything runs smoothly. I've also set the frame rate to a locked 60 FPS, although of course you can run far higher. I haven't played around with it really in any great detail this evening, other than just to demonstrate that it works, and it works really well. But even on a mixture of low and medium settings, which I'm using here, this looks absolutely incredible. Now, of course, you can use ray tracing, and there are some tools that are explained in a bit more detail on the GitHub page, and of course there's a variety of people obviously adding information into there. You'll have to play around with it to get it working how you want on your system. But the cutscenes and everything are just absolutely fantastic. Of course, this is played with a traditional controller, so this is the PC controller that I'm using here to make this work. But if you've never seen a grown man scream, then that might be about to happen. Of course, I've gone right back to the beginning here, so I've already experienced what's going to happen next. I just really wanted to show you the opening sections of the game, just so you can see obviously that everything works fantastically. There have been a number of revisions for drivers from Nvidia for Resident Evil. Of course, we're all aware of the one that was released that was pulled pretty much straight away, and the current driver is completely stable, although I am actually using the studio driver from prior to that one that was pulled, and everything's been working absolutely fantastically. I've been playing it obviously on the flat screen and really thoroughly enjoying this. I think this is actually potentially game of the year. But having the flexibility to be able to simply bounce into virtual reality, maybe once you've played the game through, or maybe if you haven't played it at all, you might want to play it in this way. And I can already tell you that this will be absolutely terrifying in virtual reality. It's terrifying on the flat screen. On virtual reality, it's going to be a million times worse. So this is, of course, the section where we are entering into the hotel, where we're investigating the scene, and it's a pretty scary part, I must admit. It's going to be pretty dark actually when we go into here, but we're just going to play a very short piece just to show you how incredible this is. So fluidity is absolutely fantastic. There's no issue in terms of any stuttering or anything like that. When you do launch into it, I would actually recommend just closing one eye, because the menus initially are a little bit out of sync. So what I did just to sort of get past that initial section was just simply to close one eye. But once you're in the game itself, everything is normal. It's just that initial opening menu that's a little bit strange. Again, that might just be me needing to refine the settings, but you know, as you can see here, this is super fluid. Everything is absolutely fantastic, And of course the detail is relatively low at this stage because I've had to wind the settings down on this, but of course you'd have to refine it for your particular use case. So we're going into the hotel, and just being able to actually look around and almost, you know, see things in a completely different light. This is absolutely terrifying, guys. It really is. It's really fear-inducing, and it actually does remind me quite a lot of Resident Evil Village on the PSVR 2. I've played Resident Evil 4 using the mod as well, but I think this surpasses it in exponentially. It really does. So as you can see, we can obviously do everything we can as normal, and even just things like that, you know, the jump scares that this is going to give you are just absolutely unreal. I can imagine it already. I haven't actually played any significant progress through this particular VR mod as of yet, and I certainly haven't loaded the save games from where I was as I was coming to completion in the game. The sheer thought of it is just fear-invoking in itself. But you are not going to be disappointed in this at all. If you own the game, this is a must. If you own the Pimax Super, this is a must. And if you don't own the Pimax Super, then here is another reason to get one. And the fact, obviously, that the Pimax Super is a direct DisplayPort VR headset, a dedicated PCVR headset, exponentially has given you an advantage over something like a Quest 3 already with this. Of course, it's great. It's a seated game as well. For me, I'm not one of these people who likes to be diving around and wailing controllers and doing things like that. I enjoy, like I did with Cyberpunk 2077, playing something like this in VR. So, as you can see, absolutely incredible. Really is an unbelievable experience. And as stated already, I will leave a link in the video description where you can download this mod completely free, and this is the latest version. Just keep an eye on the GitHub for more updates. I'm not going to go too far into the game because, as you can see, it's already pretty crazy and it gets potentially lots worse from here on. So that's Resident Evil 9 Requiem. First look on the Pimax Super. Maybe revisiting this a bit more in a future video once I've had a chance to refine the settings, but a just quick and easy introduction to the game just so you can see what it's like.